The KDKA Sports Desk is brought to you by Xfinity.
All right, the big news from the Steelers today that Dante Moncrief will be benched. Deontay Johnson will get the start opposite of Juju Smith-Schuster. So this is a big opportunity for Johnson. I had a chance to talk to him. He's looking forward to it. You know, he's been impressive at times at practice, at camp. I know he missed some time with an injury, but he's impressed the coaches enough. And he made a highlight reel type last game that, you know, extended that drive, Paul. I'd much rather right now see a guy like him out there make mistakes or whatever than a guy like Dante Moncrief just dropping balls left and right. And to me, it makes me wonder, and we're going to talk more about this on our Steelers pregame show on Sunday. I think that Moncrief might be injured, like Sammy Coates had that finger issue. I mean, you look at his hands, there's got to be something going on.
Moncrief has said he had an injury, but
so
look,
he should just sit down. He should say, I'm injured, because he's going to end up getting cut, ruining his career like Sammy Coates.
Well, I mean, now, and so obviously he's going to get opportunities, and it's, you know how it is. I mean, you know, he's benched for now. Something will happen. Somebody else will get hurt. The bottom line, the next time he gets an opportunity, he needs to make plays. And I think that, you know, when it comes to the Pirates, the Steelers.
Pirates are down 10-1.
Yeah, the Pirates, yeah. I mean, when it comes to the Steelers, okay, they need these guys to make plays, these receivers.
They need a playmaker on offense, and maybe this is the guy that can do it. You know, I'm anxious to see what Mason Rudolph can do, because I'm encouraged by him out there. I think he can hold it together. I mean, I think this team still has a shot to get 9 wins this year. I'm not saying the season is over. They potentially could win this division.
How many games, as an aside, how many games have they given up 10 or more runs? I mean,
I don't know if there's a stat. Are they the worst team since the All-Star break?
You're on here, you know, every night you're on here screaming and yelling about Bucko fever. So I figured you know how many times that they're, you know, they've gotten
well, I haven't done it too often because they haven't been winning.
Wait, listen to me. Let me just say something about that team, okay?
Yeah.
The last 3 days against Seattle.
It's embarrassing. It's another team that's really bad.
Swept by Seattle is bad enough. But they had basically this cavalcade of nobodies, never has-beens, never wases, and, you know, quad A players just coming into the game. I mean, the pitchers, the one day they've used 6 pitchers. 4 of them I went to the profile, because I was like, who's this? What is it? 4 of them I went to the profile. They were actually pictured in someone else's uniform because they were, you know, had just gotten cut by some team, and the Pirates picked them up to fill their bullpen out. They had, you know, whatever his name is, don't call me Lenny Elmore, out there in right field. What was his name? I mean, I'm looking at this team like, you know, what are they doing?
I'd much rather see them just say, sign Pomp for a day and put him out in right field.
But
they might get more people.
What are they doing? And here's the thing. You know, well, Bell's got this injury. Marte's got this injury. Kevin Stallings, or not Kevin, Jacob Stallings has this back injury, you know, all this other stuff. What happened to this, like, cutting-edge
but Frank Coonley guarantees us there's no excuse that they're going to turn over every rock and make sure that they're better next year.
What about this rest and you know, rehab and, you know, this cutting-edge thing and nutrition program that nobody else has ever thought of before? What has happened to this thing? They all have these same injuries.
Let's go out to Pete in Squirrel Hill. What's up, Pete?
Rich, how are you tonight?
Good.
Man, I miss you when you're not on the show.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
I got a little story for you, Rich. I'm watching the Buccos against the Braves going back a couple months.
Okay.
Ronald Acuna Jr. is in a batter's box, okay?
Yeah.
He has 4 gold chains around his neck, and Steve Blass says there's no place for that in baseball. Rich, Ronald Acuna Jr. is 21 years old, 41 homers, 37 stolen bases, leads the majors in runs scored, a great defender with a cannon arm, and Steve Blass talking on him because he has 4 gold chains.
Yeah, I had no problem with you know, what he does. I had no problem with what Blast said. I mean, if people want to say that, do that. That's fine. I mean, I would like to have Ronald Acuna Jr. on the freaking Pirates.
Here's what happens with stuff like that. Okay. Joe Musgrove wears a bunch of gold chains. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
And you know what? Steve Blass probably doesn't say a word about that. So you know, what comes down to is when he's on your team or when, you know, it's somebody that you're rooting for, all of a sudden you overlook those kind of things.
Let's switch it up and go out to Lou in Oakland. What's up, Lou? How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
I'm talking about Antonio Brown. I mean, you guys are saying that it's all about the money. Antonio Brown said he's made a.
I don't know where he's getting with it, but Steve, our producer, dropped them.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike out in Conway. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you this evening?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Good. Yeah, I just wanted to comment on Antonio Brown. I actually, believe it or not, for one day became a New England Patriots fan. I hate to say that, but for
Because
the
of him
being,
or because they cut him?
Exactly.
Okay.
Just for one day, that's all. I'll hate him tomorrow.
Be your Super Bowl champions with or without him. Thanks a lot.
That was a point I was going to make.
Yeah.
But
they don't need him.
It would have just sickened me of the season. More than likely, the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl. But to watch that person hoist the Lombardi Trophy would just sicken me to no end.
Well, it's not going to happen. I appreciate the call, Mike. Thanks for calling. Let's go out to Clarence out in Brentwood. What's up, Clarence?
Hello?
Hey, thanks for calling, Clarence.
I called to feel that Mason Rudolph is going to be a superstar. Not that I don't like Big Ben, because I do.
Yeah.
But I think it's Mason Rudolph time, and I pray and hope that he win this game against the 49ers this Sunday. And guess what? We got a superstar in Pittsburgh. The name is Mason Rudolph.
Thanks a lot, Clarence. I appreciate it. I don't know if I call him a superstar yet, but I think he can be a good NFL quarterback.
He's
I
got
really
that
do.
potential.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot that you like about what he does and the way he goes about his business. And, you know, if you talk to or listen to the Steelers coaches and everybody talk, he's a film junkie and a workaholic and all that other stuff. So he's got a chance.
I talked to him yesterday. He told me he goes home by himself, looks on his iPad, film all night. So, I mean, he's definitely going to be prepared, and that helps out a lot. And, I mean, I think it's pretty unique that he took over in high school because of an injury, took over in college because of an injury, and he kept those jobs. So, you know, I don't know if it's going to happen here. I don't know. No one seems to know how long Ben Roethlisberger's rehab will take. At least a year, we know that. But is he going to be ready for next year? And what happens if Mason Rudolph does a pretty good job? What happens if the Steelers win the division?
If really good,
yeah,
then Ben gets traded or retires. They're not going to keep him.
Well, he'd have to retire. They couldn't cut him because they'd take a huge hit.
He either retires or he gets traded.
And they potentially could get some. Do you think Ben would play for another team?
That would be the question. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They would say to him, Ben, Mason is our guy. He's our quarterback of the future.
Yeah.
So you can work out a trade with another team. You know, if you want to go talk, have your agent, you know, call
or retire.
Around. But we want to trade you. And then he says, well, I don't want to play for you. Then you're going to have to retire.
Yeah, a lot can happen in a year. I mean, he might decide he wants to spend time with his kids, that maybe he doesn't want to rehab. You know, maybe he doesn't want to come back.
Well, that's the point. I mean, there's a lot.
So,
these are all speculative questions.
Yeah.
Let's see what Mason Rudolph does. But
first,
you know,
that's first and foremost.
Acting as if, like, Ben Roethlisberger cannot be replaced. I mean, we just had a goaltender that won a Stanley Cup and got to a second Stanley Cup and was the man and with it, you know, this and that and everything. And he was 31 years old. And guess what? The 21-year-old is the guy they kept.
You know, here's the thing.
That's what happens.
Mason Rudolph would have to either win the division, get to the playoffs, something like that for this conversation to happen.
An
8-8 record won't.
If they go 8-8, but he's really good and the defense stinks.
This defense shouldn't stink with 10 first-rounders.
But my point is, it all depends on how he plays. That's the big thing.
All right, we're going to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls. Our lines are jam-packed. We'll get to them when we come back in 2 minutes.